Recently, a fan, or at least someone in my comment section, it's sometimes hard to tell with you guys, love you all the same, sent me this IndieGoGo for Growing Around, the cartoon where kids roll. The fan in question found the animation questionable and a bunch of other things. I watched the animation without knowing who was behind it, or reading the page, cause lol fuck reading, and...
Do you remember what it was like being a kid? Do you remember how you had to wake up early, sometimes even before the sun had come up, to get ready to go to school? A place that you'd come to dislike as the years had rolled on. A place where they put information in your head that you couldn't care less about. Your only reprieve during the day was a brief bit of recess, which was a luxury that was ripped away little by little, as they wanted to prepare you for more and more tests. In these times, it felt like imagination was all that you had to carry you forward to the next day. You were able to make the world so much more exciting in your head. You'd be thinking of schools for learning magic over math. Those dishes that you hated cleaning, they'd become the centerpiece of a game of baseball. And that bedtime that your parents saddled you with, what if that was their bedtime? Then maybe you'd think, what if you were the one in charge? I want to bring that thought to life with a show that I call Growing Around.
At first, besides finding the voice to be distinctly familiar, and maybe it's just the animation everyone else is focused on, be it Teen Titans Go, or the new Powerpuff Girls show, or Thundercats Roar, I'm not gonna say Growing Around is gonna be a timeless classic, but as a kid, I could see me rolling out of bed on Saturday and sitting through this show waiting for Pirates of Darkwater or Camp Candy to pop on. Yeah, I'm old, shut the fuck up. My knee-jerk reaction after watching first couple of seconds is we might get a low-rent version of Codename Kids Next Door. And you know what? I'd take that today.
And wildly imaginative little girl named Sally Dunn as she navigates issues of family, friends, and her typical daily life in a world where kids make all of the rules. They run the schools, the homes, the towns, and the countries. It sounds like it would be a world of fun and games, and some days it is, as Sally helps her parents with their homework, like getting the highest score in the latest video game, or creating the absolute best superhero identity. But even a world of fun and games isn't always fun and games. Childhood is a time of extremes, and growing around takes these fantasies and removes the safety brakes. A simple game of tag could drive an entire city into the apocalypse.
Now, I'm waiting for this so-called questionable stuff to pop up. I mean, whoever is this guy who looks like he's from one of those Beware of Stranger signs. You know, the ones you might have seen in a McGruff the Crime Dog cartoon. Besides that, the animation looks very whimsical and juvenile if I were a kid or an adult that never grew up. I'd think so far so good. If I were to make a suggestion to whoever is behind this, I might have suggested a webcomic series before you do the animation.
You're probably just the person who's it, and is tricking them into being tagged. Growing Around builds the world that kids would create if they did have the power and just runs with it. In this world, if you want that new top-of-the-line toy that's being blasted out on all of the commercials, you can buy it. In fact, you've gotta buy it. After all, your boss only wants to promote the coolest kid in the building. And let's just say that he's been having a few tantrums about it as of late. A brother and sister start fighting over a cereal box toy. With no parents to break them up, they do the only logical thing they can think of: go to court. At its core, Growing Around is a show about growing up. And growing up is difficult. We all know that. You learn that even your best friends sometimes move on and move away. That the people in charge don't always have your best interests in mind. It's a time of self-discovery as you come to terms with your direction in life, your identity, and your place in the world. Growing Around is a show that tackles these issues without sugarcoating or kid gloves, but it needs your help to come into existence. This show is a culmination of 4 years of work. I've been at it writing dozens of scripts and fine-tuning the world and the characters to perfection. However, there is one hurdle that is yet to be crossed, and that's the financial one.
Wait a minute. Whoever is behind this is purposely using that as their OC for a product marketed at kids. I'm not looking to bully or harass whoever's idea was to have that as an original character. You know, the one in a dark shaded trench coat. And yeah, because of the whimsical cartoon style, the character does look less ominous, but there's a bit of dissonance between what you're selling and, well, you know, how you're presenting yourself in the piece. Like, if I were a parent and I walked in on this character here talking to my kid on screen, I'm gonna be concerned.
Growing Around is a series that isn't going to be afraid of touching any issue. Topics of sexuality, gender, existential crisis, cultural identity, death, regret, they will all be subjects of episodes.
So I'm gonna touch on two things here. The first being, and this is not the content creator's fault, but why is death a mature topic? Like, death without exception is part of life's natural cycle. It has been and will always be forever. I fail to see why shielding children to something that will happen will benefit them in the long term. After all, if your kid steps on a bug, assuming they did it the right way, that bug is gone. Death doesn't care how old you are, or how much money you have, or how well you're loved or hated, or who you are. In the grander scheme of things, and quite frankly, kids' shows used to be able to tackle these sort of topics. Like, I understand it's a rough thing, and it can have a huge impact, but kids lose their grandparents, or at least their great-grandparents, their pets, their pet goldfish. People we know and love and respect pass in and out of the world every day. And yeah, this is more just something for the audience to think about than discrediting the content creator. But is death a mature topic? Seriously, absolutely, but it seems more harm than good not to tell people based on age. And let's be honest, you only ever do live one life. And no, I'm not making fun of reincarnation. Just the sooner we teach people the value of life, the better off we'll all be. And the second, now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't like.
Sexuality.
But do we need to teach kids about sexuality? Like, if you want to have a sexual education in school, or have a character that happens to be like this, that, or the other, sure, fine. But I am kind of seeing why I was tapped on the shoulder about being here. And my only advice to whomever decided to head in this direction, that you're likely to piss off people from virtually every perspective possible. But I guess it's one of those hurry up and wait and see what happens sort of deals.
The show, and many, many more perks that you can check out on our IndieGoGo page. To clear up any confusion, if this pilot does get funded, I am not going to be putting it behind a paywall or anything. The pilot will go up right here on my YouTube page and on my website. My dream is in your hands now. And thank you for listening.
So I'm just going to spoil who was behind this at this point. This is from the mysterious Mr. Enter. The crowdfunding is up to $8,279, which is 2% of the $350,000 goal. Damn, son. Now when I watched this, I didn't immediately pick up that it was John Enter. I'd like to say that this was a productive use of John's time. I think it'll be a healthy environment for himself to grow and learn as a human being. If I could offer any advice, I would seek animators like andrewkful, Crown Prince, Animated James, Pika Petey, or Harry Partridge, who all have some experience making animations. Also, I understand this is a bit different of an animal. Have you considered releasing what you have so far perhaps in book format? I mean, it seemed to work well enough for the Harry Potter series. And let's be honest, your series is going to live and die by its writing. Now, I'm not an art expert. I'm not suggesting, and I feel I'm being polite when I say your minimalist art style presented will live and die by something other than the visuals. But I don't hate what I've seen visually speaking, but so far the quality isn't unlike, let's say, Robot Jones from Cartoon Fridays. Please don't get overly offended. I'm just trying to be fair and potentially blunt. I really suggest taking the time to talk to other people, including maybe seeing whatever happened to, say, look up Group 5. I remember seeing that Patreon hitting $1,000 a week, which was the goal at the time. There, to the best of my knowledge, never really got going. I remember pledging $25 myself. I remember being super hyped, especially after Animated James ended up doing a video on the piece. And even with experienced and talented, hardworking people, well-intentioned people working on such a thing, to the best of my knowledge, and I could be entirely wrong, I do recall that not quite getting off the ground. I'm mostly going to go with giving people the benefit of the doubt, and if someone in the audience right now is waving their hands around going, "Nuh-uh, Anthony, that's not what happened," well, comment down below. But yeah, John, try considering reaching out to Nick Dante. He's from Group 5. I will put his Twitter down below. Also, John, if you need any help getting voice actors, I know more than my fair share. And being a fan of animation in general, I'm glad to help you any way I could, because more good animation is a net gain for all of us. I hope John has all the names for his characters planned out, he has all the places planned, and all the other minor details. I hope he can remain patient with criticisms and the perils of working on such a cumbersome project. and I really do wish him the best. 22 minutes of an episode on YouTube. John, I understand that your animations aren't super detailed, but you could ask your friend Josh Scorcher on how much time and effort money went into, well, let's see, his Love is an Open Door animation, the one where he got it done for Ink Rose via Crown Prince. I oddly enough kindly remember, but it's really not my place to state the price. And if you ask around what it takes for animators to do 2 to 3 minutes of animation and why 22 minutes is ideal for TV, there's a reason why things like C Students from Animated James only ever got as far as, say, 19 minutes and 50 seconds. Have you ever considered, with people's attention spans on YouTube, maybe 10 to 11 minute clips might be better off? I'm just spitballing some ideas because $300,000 is a lot of money to give to someone who might not be the most experienced in these sort of matters. Like, for example, how many YouTube animated series have been successful with that format? Have you ever talked with an animator or a voice actor or an editor, etc., etc.? And there is also the fact it's urban lore you use Windows Movie Maker to make your videos. I'm sorry. I hope you have all the tools to make this a success, and don't set yourself up for failure. Thank you. Whoops, wrong show. Good night and good luck.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brain, but how can you have a duck dynasty if none of the people are ducks?
God damn it, Pinky.
Yes, Mom, I got here safe. No, I didn't have any problems finding out where to go. Alright, I'll call you if there's an emergency. Okay, love you too. Bye. Paranoid bitch.
Yeah, and then Rorschach goes, "I'm nutty!" And everyone thought I was really funny.
Oh yeah, did you see there's a teaser out for the new Elder Scrolls game?
Whoa, wait, they're doing a new one? Really? God, I love the last two!
Yeah, it doesn't really show anything though. It's just some old guy doing a voiceover.
Oh man, you got me excited now.